Guess what time it is? Time for the show.
I can't believe he's doing this again.
Getting ready for another season?
This is so incredible.
There's a lot more gems, a lot more web stuff, and a lot more interviews. I feel like I'm a freaking Cloud9 when I do this stuff.
This is definitely the favorite part of my day.
Seriously, you should stick around if you want your mind blown.
I'm not even a millionaire yet, but that's the whole point.
It's my story, my journey, and my ride.
Welcome to the new Developer to Millionaire.
Rock on, rock on, rock on, rock on. What's up, everybody? Jonathan Perez here, your host for Developer to Millionaire. And what I usually like to do in this little section is introduce my guest. My guest today goes by the name of Andre. And I don't want to say his last name wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But it's Andre. Andre from ProjectHuddle.io. Now, Andre's freaking awesome, man. We just had a great conversation. It's a little over an hour, and we spoke about developing, getting fired from your job, health insurance, surprisingly enough. We spoke about Project Huddle, which is the tool that you definitely need in your arsenal, and just a whole bunch of other things. And it was such a pleasure. This was the first time I actually spoke with Andre ever. I was a fan of his product. I reached out to him, and we started chatting on email a little bit, and then I asked him to be on the podcast. So he's a super smart guy, super humble, and he's doing great things. So right after this message, let's get into the conversation and enjoy the show.
Are you looking to get more traffic through your website? What about more email opt-ins?
Well, I definitely am, and this is the exact journey that I'm documenting as I start to grow my new website, johnperez.me. If you visit howtogrowyourwebsite.com, you're going to see a lot of information there on how you can be a part of the journey. Come with me as I grow my website from practically zero to over 1,000 visitors a day. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be fun, and I'm going to show you everything I do along the way. howtogrowyourwebsite.com.
Sweet. So, I mean, I literally know minimal about you. I remember I was introduced to Project Huddle I was on a Skype chat in the Beaver Builder Slack channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and someone mentioned it, and they were like, oh, you got to try this. So I clicked it, and I was like, oh, my God, this thing is amazing.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, because it reminded me of the Envision app, right? Which
yeah,
I'm sure inspired from, right?
Exactly. That's basically where it came from. It seemed like, there's a lot more than just Envision. There's probably like 50 to 100 different Envision, I guess, ripoffs or Envision type of services, but nothing's self-hosted and everything's like a monthly fee, and it's like that's just outrageous. Something so basic as just point and click feedback. So
you're so freaking right. I tried Envision app a couple times, and I don't know, it was just confusing to me. I was like, all right, upload these designs, because I think when it first came out, the way they like marketed it was these like live kind of wireframes where just put this button up, and then when you click it, it'll go to the next screen. And I was like, that just seems like more work to me.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
So how did this whole thing come about? You just found a need, and you're like, you know what? I'm doing this for WordPress.
Yeah. So I originally got my start doing products on ThemeForest.
Oh, okay.
So actually worked for an agency for a while. Ended up getting fired, and decided, okay, now I got to make money, so I'm going to try and do client work.
Yeah.
And right when I started, I didn't have any clients yet. So while I was waiting for clients, I thought, well, I'll just make a theme and see how that goes.
Okay.
So I think I just got in like the perfect time where nobody really knew about ThemeForest, but everybody was making like a lot of money.
This is a while ago then, right?
Yeah, this is like maybe 2012, 2010.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I got in at the right time, and made some themes and didn't really have to market or anything, and just put them up there, and they just sold like crazy. And it was great to see like all these customers using themes, and then they're like, oh man, I have all these customers, I got to do support. And so then you set up a support system. So then at some point I decided that to stop doing client work and just focus on products, just because it was so much time.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was all right, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
So you were fired in 2011?
Yeah. Well, let me think.
Around then?
It was probably like 2010.
And you've been solo ever since?
Yeah, I've been solo ever since.
I
Exactly.
gotta applaud that. I gotta be honest. I literally just got laid off yesterday. Like yesterday was,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good news though.
Everyone is saying that, and I'm taking
It
it
is.
as good news. And I'm like, you know what? Everything I've been working for, I'm just gonna just drive and just keep doing it. But it's a little nerve wracking. I mean, I gotta be honest.
Of course
it's like
it is.
the first day today, like all I did was go on the phone and make phone calls and emails and everything. And I'm like, man, I gotta ramp up pretty fast.
Of course it is. It's like, especially at first, right? It seems like, I don't know, when I first got laid off, it just seems so quiet, and I'm like, what do I do? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know.
I'm trying
But-
to make noise. Like I'm trying to just be like, someone call
Yeah.
me or do something.
Luckily, I had a few people. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, and there's a designer here that knew like a bunch of people, and so he was more like a print designer, and he would just hand me anytime someone wanted a website. He's like, "Oh, talk to Andre." So
Nice.
that was sort of like when I first started doing client work. That was kind of a sweet spot for me, was finding these people that could just keep feeding me projects, and I could just say yes or no.
Sure.
Right. So like I'd find like design studios that didn't really do websites and be like, hey, I'll do your website, and your clients need websites. Let's work together. You can do design, I'll do development or whatever. And so that seemed to work really well because you don't have to chase after every client, right? It's sort of like you kind of set up these,
Sure.
I don't know, conveyor belts, I guess you'd call them. And you can either, if the project fits, you can decide to do it. If it doesn't, then, you know that something else is going to come eventually. So
how long did you have like between, okay, I'm laid off now and then I have to start making money now?
that was like immediate for me. I wasn't, my job wasn't paying really that well, so I didn't really have anything saved. Luckily my wife, Emily, she kind of supported me for a couple of months while I, got my act together, I guess. So
Nice.
that was helpful. And, I didn't have any kids then or anything, so it was a little bit easier.
Sweet.
But
So Theme Force was your saving grace though? Like you did a couple projects and then said, hey, I'm just going to build some themes?
yeah, I was just like, why am I doing client work? It's so much more fun to just build what I want, and then people are buying it, which is like, it's like the ultimate validation, right? Like you build something
Sure.
and people actually buy it. You're like, wow, they like it.
Look at this. What I used to do, I tried to get into the theme game at one point, and then I think my first support request, I was like, I can't do this. Because the thing with theme development, and tell me if this is true or false, but once you do it, like you have to really put like every single scenario in your brain when you're building a theme, right? Like no one
Yeah.
ever uses it how it's supposed to be used, and you're like, I built it like this, but everyone just takes it and goes, no, I want to make your theme into a restaurant site. How do I add menus? And you're like, what?
Isn't that the truth? You're absolutely right. You have to think about every use case, and yeah, you're absolutely right.
I thought that was so frustrating when I first started doing it. No, you love it. You must love it because you did it.
I mean, at first when I first started, people would have those requests. I'd be like, oh, I'll just build it and add it as a feature.
That's what I did.
And that's kind of what I did to start. And then now I'm like, yeah, it's not really a feature of the theme. Sorry, but it's certainly customizable. You could customize it. So
Nice.
I don't really do that stuff anymore, but I think that's just because, I wasn't starting out anymore.
So what happened? So you went from doing the themes and then there was a transition?
Yeah, the themes are great. But I kind of see like on ThemeForce especially, there's just so much being added and so many themes, and there's a lot of really talented people and a lot of really great themes, and it's just becoming, I don't know, I can kind of see like an end to this where there's going to be just so saturated with people doing this.
Well,
Go
ahead, finish.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we're in the age of builders now. It's not even themes
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. What do you mean by builders?
like it's going to come to a point where it doesn't even matter what you use. You're just going to start off with something, and then you just drag the new design in, or drag the new header, drag the
Oh,
new
you mean
zero
like
part.
page builders? Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a frustrating part too because I don't know, I have yet to find a page builder that doesn't really bog a site down and, add all these bugs and that kind of thing, except for Beaver Builder.
There you go.
Except for Beaver Builder. But
Yes.
I can't make themes for sale using Beaver Builder because I don't think there's a license that allows that. So
There
makes it kind of tough.
Well, there's the white label license. So they'll allow you to white label all their stuff, and I think as long as you have that license, I'm pretty sure that you can ship a theme with it.
Oh yeah,
I think.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of tricky. Maybe you don't ship the theme with it, but there is the light version, and the light version's free, so technically under the the GPL.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, so you could probably do it like that. What I found though is anytime you try to do something with Beaver Builder, everyone just thinks they can do it themselves because it's Beaver Builder.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you build the theme, and then it's like, well, I don't need to buy that. I'll just build it. And you're like, all right.
So you're saying Beaver Builder is too good?
It's too good. It is too good. And I think I've talked about that a couple times, but like we're in this weird era right now. 2017, websites have been around for maybe over 20 years, and it's getting easier and easier and easier for end users to build simple websites. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
My whole prediction was that in the next 5 to 10 years, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be pretty tough for an actual web, like to get jobs as a web designer, like saying, oh, I'll build your sites, unless you market like a specific way. But just someone coming up and that wants to be a web designer and says, hey, yeah, I'm a web designer, I'll build your sites. It's $2,000. Some people are going to just start being like, well, I could just buy it and have everything I want with 3 clicks. Now it's easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
true.
I don't know. How do you feel about
I
that?
agree with you. I agree with you to a point. If it's a simple website, of course someone can build it themselves. But I still think, like, just because you can build something yourself doesn't mean you wouldn't pay somebody else to do it. That would obviously be better, right? Like,
Sure.
I could build my own house. Like, if I had the knowledge, I could do it. But do I want to spend the time doing that, or do I want to spend the time doing other things?
I agree.
So it's like
1000%.
the value of like a web designer isn't in the product. I think it's in the expertise and the knowledge to know that it's done right, and I don't have to spend my time doing it, right? If I'm the client.
It's got to be. But what's happening is it's the entry point, right? Like 10, 15 years ago when you wanted to be a web designer, you had to know HTML, CSS, and things like that.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have people who are just going to be like, well, I guess I could be a web designer now,
Yeah, they can until something breaks.
Exactly. And that's what drives me nuts. So I was thinking that even with all these page developers and designers and all that stuff, that with these not expert people coming into the game have no idea what it takes, because all they're using is like maybe like the Avada theme or the
Yep.
Divi theme, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I'm building amazing websites and charging $5,000, and then something goes wrong and they're like, oh man, Divi support, please help me with this, So I think it's got to start getting back to basics. Like, I think people should still find that expertise in like you should know HTML and CSS. I think that's a given. You have to know that.
Yep.
Yep. And then I don't know. That's just how I feel.
No, I definitely think you're onto something with that for sure.
Yeah, it's where I see it going. I don't know.
I mean, there's always going to be people that need web designers, though. I mean, you're right in the fact that maybe the entry level people might suffer a little bit, but like if I'm an e-commerce company, my website is very important to me. If I'm making lots of money, I want to hire somebody good. I'm not going to do it myself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Or they're going to want to hire someone that knows what they're doing as far as maybe even marketing. So you think marketing is going to be a part of the whole web thing? Like, how much of marketing strategy is going to start taking a part of the web thing rather than just, hey, build a website?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know like there's a lot of these like visual A/B testing tools,
Mm-hmm.
like Optimizely is one. I think Visual Website Optimizer is another one where marketers can just jump in and make different changes to landing pages without knowing any code and just A/B test them and see which ones convert the best. I kind of see it going there where stuff is becoming easier to build so that marketers can do it and just kind of run with things a lot faster.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's going to be a marketer's world.
Yeah. Better start reading some marketing books, right?
I've been getting so into marketing, and I'm learning so much stuff. And I don't know how heavy into marketing you are, or
Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
So,
and maybe it's just because I'm a Midwest kid, but
so funny.
I don't like talking about myself. I don't like talking about my products. I don't like any of that. I don't know.
So okay, all right. So you hate marketing. So how do you get the word out? Like what's your
Yeah,
Do you have
it's a
anything
struggle.
behind your stuff?
It's an internal struggle for sure, but like the Beaver Builder chat group was pretty good. I'm not sure, somebody posted it on there, and it's sort of like everything that I've done is just sort of grown organically. But now that I'm working on Project Huddle, there's no marketplace anymore, so I'm on my own.
So are you 100% Project Huddle, or are you doing other things here and there, and then
I'm still maintaining the themes and adding new features every now and then, but I kind of want to build Project Huddle to a point where I'm happy with everything and just see where it goes. It's finally starting to get some really good traction, so that's really exciting.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like the marketing thing, and I don't know. I don't really know a lot of what I'm doing, so it's a lot of trial and error.
That's great. So you have just like to put it up and just hope they come. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm doing some stuff with email and just reaching out to people. I have a bunch of friends that are really interested and just want to help out, so they'll kind of do it, and help out and spread the word. And I'm trying some affiliate programs and maybe offering some coupons to people that refer people, and just sort of like some more grassroots stuff.
Sweet. Well, I freaking love it because to me, Project Huddle made it so easy. Like you just click and you say, okay, add a new design, and then you send it to your client, and then they start clicking and making comments and stuff. And like you said, like Envision app does it, but it's not hosted, and I think they have a free version or something, but I don't know. To me, it was just like so everywhere. But the thing that you created is it's mock-ups, which I freaking love, and the fact that you put in like actual website, I don't know what to call it, but like you put that little snippet of code, and then they can go on the website and then start clicking around. That has saved me so much time in the projects that I've done. So I could actually,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I could put something up on like a subdomain, and then this is the story. The client gave me this project. They had their own subdomain. I wasn't even hosting it. It was like a staging site on WP Engine, I think, something like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so we did the site, and then I added that snippet because I was like, okay, new website. Let me do this. And it's like, oh, what's the URL? So I put everything in, and then I put that little snippet in there. And then all of a sudden, every time my client goes onto that website, they could just click around and then send me the notes, and then I get all the notes live with everything we built, and it's so great. It's so amazing.
It sort of combines a lot of my favorite tools. Like there's a website commenting tool called BugHerd is one of them. I think TrackDuck is another one. Again, they're all hosted solutions, but yeah, it's like if you're a designer, some people design using like Sketch, right? But some people design in the browser.
Yes.
So it kind of like covers all the bases. So and some people do both. Like here's a basic wireframe I was thinking, and you get feedback on that. And then once they launch like a staging site, they can get feedback on that too. So it's kind of like the idea is like start to finish, you can get feedback, but
definitely beats an email. Going on the About Us page in the third paragraph down.
Yep.
I used to get those all the time, and I'm like, oh, God, I wish there was an easier way.
So this kind of combines that whole thing, and kudos to you for actually doing this. Now, did you do this whole thing by yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It was sort of like a challenge. It was, WordPress has changed now. It has an API, which makes it more like an app platform than a blogging platform. So you can set your own endpoints and run essentially like a JavaScript framework like Backbone or Angular on the front end, and then use the API on the back end to, store all your data. So it's like, I think you're going to see WordPress change from just being websites to, people building their own web apps using the service, just because it makes it a lot easier too.
That's pretty awesome. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I thought
It's like, if
Yeah.
you want to do a web app, you need to like know a lot about servers, set up your own server, set up your own database, do all that stuff. With WordPress, a lot of that stuff's taken care of, like user accounts. That's taken care of. Permissions and roles, those are taken care of with WordPress.
Okay.
It just makes it a lot easier and faster to like build this stuff, so you can just concentrate on whatever app you're using, right?
So you're kind of thinking outside the box with WordPress. Like, it's not just a blogging thing. It's, look, I can make it into this awesome tool.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So how long?
We'll see what happens.
How long has it been around?
How long has Project Huddle been around?
Yeah.
A little over a year, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe last fall I officially launched it. So
It's pretty new then, right?
yeah, it's pretty new. Yeah, it took a little while to get started, and then like the first version was very basic, and I thought, oh, this is great. And then you get some feedback about how people actually use it, and it's like, oh yeah, we could do this, and there's all these different use cases that I didn't even think of, like people that do like semi-custom like e-commerce solutions. Like, think about having a customized t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So you can order the t-shirt on WooCommerce, and then they can upload the customization like with your name on it, and the customer can approve it, and then the customer gets charged and everything gets taken care of. So it's sort of like for semi-custom shops, which I didn't even think of
Oh, wow.
until after I launched, right?
Yeah. So what is that? Someone just reaches out to you and says, hey, can it do this? Or you just...
Yeah,
Find
people.
someone-
Yeah, exactly. People are saying, "Hey, can we do this?" Or I tried to do this and it works, or I tried to do this and it doesn't work, and it's I don't know. That's almost like I think a lot of people are like, get to know your market, do a lot of research before you build stuff, but your customers are like going to tell you what they want. I think.
Sure.
I guess you have to decide if they're good ideas or not, but you can kind of see how people are using them, and it'll surprise you kind of what they use it for.
Well, did you have an audience already built in before you launched this, like with all the themes and stuff? So was it easier to kind of just get it out there?
Well, yeah, I built it for myself. So like people like me that have clients and need to get feedback and stuff. But yeah, I didn't really do much marketing with the themes or anything. So I had like an email list I just sent out, and I haven't really done a lot of cross promotion just because I don't know. I just don't want to be spammy, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
That's great.
not much.
So this is just like a really basic, organically grown product, right? I mean,
Yes.
as far as like you had the themes and stuff, but this was just something you built and put up, and then I'm assuming you sent one email out at least, right? To hey guys, check this out, and then from there it's just kind of like a word of mouth, spread like wildfire kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. It's probably not the best strategy, but
Yeah,
it's just me. I don't have the big marketing budget to do ads and all that. And
But you know what?
you know,
It works, right? I mean, like I think that's like beyond validation, because doing something like that, like now people want it and people need it and people use it,
Yep, exactly.
So that's
We've been collecting feedback from people and just seeing like, what do you use? What do you want to see? And like the overwhelming majority of people are like, I just love this thing and I just want you to keep developing it, whatever that means. So that's like a great sign, and that's why I'm like, oh, I should keep going with it.
I'm gonna agree with them there.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, man. So what's what's down your pipeline? What do you got cooking? It's just 100% Project Huddle. Are you gonna stop doing themes or helping the clients? And
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. As of right now, I want to focus a little bit on Project Huddle. I do want to add some more features to the themes that I've just been in the back of my mind. But I just had a daughter in December, so we have a 3-month-old in the
congrats.
house.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's my first kid, so
Ooh.
a lot of
It's
a
tough.
lot of my time has been taken up the last few months. It's
I know
all
what you
been
mean.
like amazing and outstanding and everything, but
That's great. No, congratulations. Definitely enjoy that. I remember my when my first son was born, I was like knee deep in getting client projects and everything, and it was tough to try to meet
yeah,
like different deadlines and then have like a baby that would wake up 5 times a night and the whole nine. So I definitely relate and I can understand. So yes.
plus hospital bills. You know, being self-employed, you don't have
Oh
fancy
yes.
insurance. You just kind of, you know, it's like we're for self-employed people kind of have it hard when it comes to insurance. You have like these huge bills, and it's like just adds to the stress.
Oh my God, let's talk about this. The hardships of going solo.
Yeah.
My wife used to work for the city, so she would get, we had insurance. It was city insurance. It was free, so everything was covered. And
That's great.
but she recently resigned in January. And once she resigned, like I was working at a company, but the insurance sucked. Like it was gonna cost me just to cover me and my wife. It was gonna be like almost $1,000 a month, and not great coverage. But then now I lost my job, and now we have the whole Obamacare or whatever the new one is, American Care or whatever, and the prices are just astronomical for health insurance. And I'm like, I don't even understand how this makes sense. I was talking to a buddy.
Yeah.
He was paying like $2,000 a month for his family, and I was like, oh, $2,000 a month. That's insane.
And then it's just the premium. There's
Yeah,
still a deductible. There's still all that.
I know.
There's still stuff that's not covered.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's a struggle. So that's like one of those expenses that you kind of have to tie in to whatever you make per year and say, all right.
Yeah, but if you don't make a lot, then you don't have to pay a lot.
Is that how it
That's the
works?
idea. That's supposed to be how it works, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think I don't make a lot, but I think I'm just above the cutoff where I would get any sort of benefits or anything. I'm like in the bad zone,
The
whatever that would be.
Yeah, I think that's middle class. I think
Yeah,
I think middle
I'm in the
class.
middle class zone. Yeah.
That's the worst zone to be in. You get no help for anything, and you're expected to pay full price for everything. That's what I did when I was
tough.
searching for my whole insurance thing. When I was doing just when I just need insurance, I was on in New York. It's New York Gov Health, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know, but the deductibles were the cheapest one I found was for me and my wife, just two people, because my kids were covered under something else. It was $680 a month and $6,000 deductible per person.
Yep. That sounds about similar to what we're paying.
Yeah, and I was like, why? What is this? Every time I go to the doctor, I'm gonna have to pay full price. Like this kind of defeats the purpose of having insurance. So we kind of opted out. I was like, listen, if we're gonna pay full price anyway to go to the doc, we're never gonna hit the $6,000 deductible. I mean, unless you go to the hospital, but that's just not.
Well, if you have $6,000 like in cash, you can do like a HSA, which is all the money you put in HSA is tax deductible. So I think the idea with those high deductible plans is you have an HSA account, which also gains interest, by the way, for like you can use it for retirement.
Really?
So you open up an HSA account and you kind of do that. So you have the $6,000 in the HSA and you just pay the premium, the lower premium.
Oh, all right. I just learned something new.
Yeah.
But then you need
That's what we're doing this
you need
year.
2 accounts now? You need the health insurance
I
and
don't
the
know.
HSA? Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the HSA is just like you go to a bank and you say, "Yeah, I want to open an HSA," and they'll open it for you. And then
Oh.
it's just an account that gains interest that you can only use for medical expenses. So not your premium, but your deductible and any other medical related expenses.
Interesting. Learned
Yeah.
something new. Now I can get insurance.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I'm learning. I've never been on my own before, so this is the first time I'm going like full
Dude,
on solo.
That's awesome. When I got fired, it was like the best business decision, best business thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
For sure. And it didn't feel like it at the time at all for me. I was like, man, this is like really bad. I'm going to be out of money and I don't know, but it takes a little while to get to get your client list going. But once you have some solid clients, man, it's really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on Surefire. That's my company for 6 years, and I've built up a pretty solid thing for a side hustle. Like it was a side hustle.
Sure.
I was literally, it was like 2-3 hours a day, and I would just kind of do my thing. But silly me, like my creative brain is always like, you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. So this year, my decision was, all right, I'm switching things up. Let me make a little transition. And I was starting to get into more marketing and more membership type stuff because I wanted to have something that was a little more recurring. Similar to like the product model, because then you can have like a yearly renewals and things like that. And chasing website clients is great, but it's always a new sale. And when I have a minimal amount of time, it's kind of annoying to, get the lead, wait for things to kind of come to fruition and do that. So, so I was, but I built it. And I don't know why I feel weird. I think it was just the suddenness of it,
A suddenness of
just being
what?
Being solo. Like, oh, you have a job today,
of course.
and tomorrow
it
you
should
don't.
It should be jarring, what you do a majority of your day just changed.
I know. You're right. You're right. It's like
I'm super impressed just what you've done with Surefire just on the side. Because I'm like, oh man, I should blog, I should do some stuff. And I feel like I have the time, but I don't do it. And you've just done all that stuff just in your 2 hour a night spare time. Imagine what you could do if you really put full time into it,
I appreciate that. But here's the thing though, because now that I have the full time, I feel like this is my worry, that there's just going to be like procrastination, because I'm used to like the 2 to 3 hour block of just get shit done, And now that I have this time in the day, like I feel like I have to fill up my schedule. But I don't know, I'm like in this weird crossroad, because mastering the side hustle, which is my new that's like my self brand, is taking your 8-hour day and condensing it into 2 to 3 hours, right?
Yep.
There was this guy, I forgot his name. Whatever. He did this program that said take your entire year and condense it into 4 months. So your entire year, like your goals for the year, everything that you want to do, and instead of taking all year to do them, do it in 4 months, which is a pretty big challenge, right? It's going to start shifting your brain and stuff. So what I've been doing for the past 6 years was take an 8-hour day, shove it into 2 to 3 hours. Right?
If you can do that, man, that's a great skill.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been kind of, I guess, harnessing for the past 6 years, which is great because it gets you to think very different, and it's just a whole different mind change and a whole different mindset. So my fear now is with the full time. Now that I have the extra time, I don't want to get like sidetracked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're not. I know exactly what you mean. Like if I were, like I could make if you're making a chair and someone gives you a day, maybe you don't finish because you get caught up in all the details and everything.
Yeah.
But if someone gives you like 2 hours, you're like, oh man, I got to make this really fast.
Exactly.
And you end up doing it,
And
right?
you make that chair in 2 hours and you're done. But now
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, now I have time. So what do I? This is weird. So it's definitely a really, really big shift for me. But you know what? I think it's all going to be for the better too, because I don't know, I just feel it.
But I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, but for me, it was awesome. And at the time, of course, I was freaking out. I was a majority of the day. I'm like, what should I even be doing right now? I'm just sitting around staring at my computer. I'm looking out the window at birds, and I'm, oh, that bird's back again. The same
So
bird,
funny.
like these birds are becoming my friends.
That's so funny. Look at this squirrel. I'm gonna name him
But
Charlie.
I think that's normal. It's just like an adjustment, and then I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's like an adjustment because you just don't have a lot to do right away. You're used to being busy, and then you're not. You seem like you feel like you're failing a little bit just because you're not busy.
So how did you deal with it? I mean, like, what was your structure? Like, it took you a month, like you did a little bit a day and then you ended up just doing more and more and more?
Yeah, I don't know that I did. It just sort of like I just got busy as I got more clients, and then with clients there's deadlines, so you're like, oh yeah, I gotta make those. So
That's true. Gotta finish the project. All right.
yeah, just when it's almost like if you set your own deadlines, you're like, I don't really care about myself that much.
Oh, that's so true.
I can put that off. But if it's a client, you're like, oh man, I better finish this. I had a schedule because they're counting on me.
That's true. I've had late nights doing that. Like, I gotta get this done by tomorrow.
Yeah, and would you ever do that for yourself? Probably not. Or I mean,
No.
I wouldn't. I can't speak for you, but
No, I won't. I'm very much on the side of leisure. Like, I like my free time. I like hanging with the fam, playing games, and all that fun stuff. I have me and Kim Doyle had the F the Hustle website. Or just
oh yeah,
it just said F the Hustle.
it's still up.
It's up, but it's not. It's nothing. Like, we took all the stuff down. We're actually thinking of pre-packaging it into like a premium course, because we kind of went all in on like 17 episodes, like detailed things of how to make money, and how to do a lot of stuff. So, we spoke about it, and it picked up. But it was funny because we're like doers, like you just do things. I know Kim is more of like a planner and stuff, but I'm just like, let's just jump in and just start doing things. So we came up with the idea, and then we put it out there. It went under the name Freedom Papers Podcast. We switched it up to Hustle Free because of some issues that we were having with the name. And so Hustle Free is still up, but we took everything down. But we still got the shirts and the mugs, and I still wear the shirt and I drink coffee out of the mug every day. It's just F the Hustle. It's
well,
awesome.
that's the most important part, that you have a shirt and a mug.
Exactly. That's key. That's how you know you made it.
As long as I have a mug, I made it.
Yes, and I take pictures with that mug, and I love it. So, yeah, but see,
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we're thinking.
You should revive that.
I know. Yeah, the reason why we kind of shut it down was because we started, we have like our own things going, and we couldn't figure out like a solid way to monetize it. And, it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours a night, a week. And it was awesome. But we were like,
a lot of time.
Yeah. But we were like, what do we do with it? We're not just going to keep putting episodes out and going, okay, new episode. Because it was hard coming up with the ideas, too, because we wanted everything to be really tangible, like stuff that you can actually do and start implementing and making money.
Yeah.
Because this was all the stuff that we were doing, and we were just kind of putting it all out there. So once we were like, we don't really know how to monetize this, and if we're going to do like sponsors and stuff like that, we kind of have to do this for like another year, and it's a lot of time. So let's shelf it, and then and we'll figure something else out. So we were actually thinking of making it into a premium course and even a book. Just putting like a whole book together.
And now that you're the marketing guy, you can market it.
There you go. Man of many traits. Yeah, man, I'm figuring out a lot of this stuff. I'm surprised that you've done all of these things without like knowing how to market. I'm actually
It's the
floored.
exception, not the rule. It's just I got lucky
Yeah.
on a lot of it. And if I were to do it again, I mean, like especially with like Theme Forest, there's a lot of other people that started the same time as me, and they've become huge, right? They made things like Aveda or like putting out a theme every 2 weeks. I was just like, oh, this is fun. I want to keep doing this myself, and I like doing this. And I didn't hire anybody. I didn't think about long term. I just thought like I'm having fun building things for people. So
That's awesome though. See, like that's
yeah, I could have. It's like you could have done a lot better.
You think so? You think you could have done?
Well, I guess that's it's always the case, but
Well, if you
You
look
know.
at your first thing that you've ever built compared to now, I'm sure everyone has
Exactly.
improved
Exactly.
somewhere.
Yep.
But I just think it's admirable, like the fact that maybe without even knowing subliminally, like you build something. I think that's how a lot of tools come to be also. Like you build something for yourself that you need because you're filling in that void, right?
Yep.
And then you share it with someone and they're like, hey, that's freaking awesome. I need that too. As a matter of fact, a lot of people probably need this. Let's start telling people. That's how was it Basecamp got started. Like those
Yeah,
guys
exactly.
they just built the tool for themselves. Like, let's use this. And they're like, hey, this is something. let's run with it. I think MailChimp was the same way.
But those companies were all built like 5 years ago.
Isn't it crazy?
It's different now. I think like I think you just can't build stuff anymore, and and maybe it took, of course, like it probably took Basecamp a couple years to get traction, just like anything. But
Well,
I think that's one. Definitely, you're right. The most important part of the equation is having something valuable that people are willing to pay for and that want to have. So
sure.
yeah, but I think there's more to it now, just because it's like everybody's building a web app, everybody's building a theme, everybody's building a plugin. It's becoming so much easier to do that everybody wants to do it. So you
think you're
kind of
right.
got to do more, I think.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. That's why I think breaking into certain things now, like you got to be first to market or just there, because it's tough. It's tough. I think it's amazing that Beaver Builder has only been around like 2 years, year and a half. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
losing track of time now. But like
How old are we?
yeah, right. I've always been looking into something. Like I've always pictured. This is funny. I've always pictured Beaver Builder in my head, but no one's ever built it. And I'm like, why isn't this just built? Like, why can't someone build it? And I don't think to myself like, yeah, why don't I build it? I'm not going to do that. And then they finally released it, and I'm like, wow, this thing is exactly everything that I wanted. Because I think before them there was this one called Harvest or something with wheat. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it's called though.
I forgot the name too, but it looked pretty cool, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Like, but why can't there just be a solid, amazing front end page builder where I can just put the stuff that I want in there? And they nailed the usability, and that's why I get so frustrated with, like Divi. Like, when I was trying it, I was like, this is all back and stuff, and then I tried Page Origins, and then I tried a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, man, like if these guys just focused more on like the usability part of it instead of just being like a technical, it's one row, 1/3 row. It's like, just show me.
Exactly. It's like, isn't it easier just to learn how to code at that point? I mean,
yes, that's exactly what I've been saying. Do you use the Genesis framework at all?
I have in the past. I haven't for a long time. So
Well,
I probably should check it out again. It's been a while.
it's awesome. It's cool. It's a developer's framework, right? It's for developers. But there was this thing that came out, and it was oh my god, my brain is like mush today. It was Cobalt Apps dynamic theme. It was a child theme for Genesis, and to me, all it did, like I looked at it, it was very huge. Like everyone had it, and everyone bought it, and everyone loved it. And Genesis Extender was the same thing except not a theme. It was like the plugin version of it. All it did was just add a GUI to the functions file. Like it was, And I looked at
Really?
it. Yeah, like I was trying to like figure it out, and I just didn't get it because even with the drop downs, it was just the same syntax that you would use if you were writing a function. So if you're writing a function,
But you just click things.
exactly, yeah. So instead of
Are people afraid of the keyboard or something? I don't.
I think people are. I really think they are. So I would, instead of Genesis after header and then like make my own function, it would just be a drop down that said, "Oh, Genesis after header," and then you would click it. Oh, this, is and then you just put all your code in. And I'm like, just code it. At that point, like just code it. It's not doing anything different. But people loved it, and I think I don't know. I think people are just attracted.
Faster?
No, well, I don't think
Like
so.
faster to build things? I don't know. I think
know.
there's like I think you're onto something with like talking about Beaver Builder. Like, it's easy to use and so customizable. People could just do it themselves. And at the same time, there's no like developer version of a page builder. Because like when I build sites for clients, I'll use advanced custom fields and kind of build like a page builder. But you know how you have some clients that they don't need a lot of options. They just want like let's say like pre-built sections, like a hero section,
Sure.
and a latest blog post section, right? And I just use advanced custom fields for that. I wish there was like a page builder that just I could set whatever fields were in each one. It wasn't so so many options. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm onto something or if I'm just rambling.
No, that makes sense. Like you're like locking down certain parts of the site so that if they want to edit something, they can't edit everything. You could just edit the title.
Yeah, because some people like the control, but let's say you have a blog with multiple authors or marketers that need to make pages. You don't want to give them too much, and so they're overwhelmed, so that they could just
that would actually
throw stuff up.
Be pretty sick. There's like a lot of talk on trying to lock down certain parts of Beaver Builder when they give it to clients but it's not perfect. Like,
yeah.
Clients, for some reason, always find a way to just break things. It's like, don't do this. Okay, click, 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 click. It broke. I don't know what happened. It's like, what? Like, how? So, yeah, no, that would actually be pretty awesome. Like, just lock it down. Like, you can only
sort of
edit
like
this on the front end.
Sort of like how you would do advanced custom fields, like a flexible content field. I don't know if you're familiar with ACF.
Just started getting into it.
Yeah, it's like, so you can build these flexible content fields. It's like, I want to add a hero section, and then there's like a few different form fields you can fill out. Oh. And then you could add like a blog post section. You can maybe just choose the category of the blogs and how many to show.
Oh, but take that and just put
like
it on the front end.
But on the front end, yeah.
That would be sick.
I think that would be ideal for a lot of people that build sites for clients and don't want them to just be like, oh, I could just do this myself with the page builder,
I think we just found your new plugin.
Yeah. If I had the time. Someone build it.
Yeah, right. Whoever's listening, someone build that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Did you see the new themer that's coming out?
No, what's it called?
Ooh, are you familiar with types and views at all?
Types and views?
Yeah, like the.
No, man. I'm out of the loop.
Jeez, come on, Andre. All right, it's basically all right. Types and views is to make custom fields. And,
yeah. I'm familiar with this. Yep.
Views is a way to display it, but with views, it's not very user friendly. You got to code everything and put in the short codes and stuff. It's awesome. It's powerful. Once you know how to use it, it's amazing. But if you don't know how to use it, it's a huge learning curve to kind of get into it.
Sure.
The new Beaver Builder themer is basically taking that concept of views, which is just building different page templates and then using them across the board. With this themer theme just is Beaver Builder, but it does that.
Oh, right? Cool.
Yeah. So if you want like a custom post type, you create, let's say, a portfolio, and you want to add a photo gallery. So you create the layout in Beaver Builder, and you create the heading and the title, but it's all dynamic. So you're not just putting a title in there; you're putting like the dynamic title tag.
Yes, you're building like a template with Beaver Builder. Is what you're saying?
Exactly. And then you save it,
cool.
And you can use ACF or types or like any of the custom field programs, and your template is already built, and then those programs kind of fill in the blanks.
Man, people are getting crafty.
Oh, so crafty. so damn crafty. It's yeah. Technology is blowing my mind lately.
I know. Aren't you glad we live like in the future?
Yeah,
Like I can order something on Amazon and sometimes it comes the same day.
I
It's
know.
like insane. I don't know. I feel like I'm living in the future. There's self-driving cars. There's
Oh my
computers in your
gosh.
pocket. It's just crazy.
It is
Maybe I
crazy.
sound like an old codger, but
No, but I mean that's what we are in, right? Everything is moving lightning fast. What last year is old already. You know what I mean? Everything that
it
came out
is.
last year is like that's so last year. Like welcome to 2017. I was looking for at like front end dev positions and like jobs because you know you hit panic mode and you're like, oh my god, what do I got to do? So,
Yeah.
but they're all like it's front end isn't even front end anymore. Like they want you to know so much stuff. All these like employers that are looking to hire a front end developer. I'm doing quotations, but you can't see me. And they're it's like, oh yeah, you be a front end developer, but we need you to be able to design, and you got to know React and Node and Angular and some PHP. And it's like, what are you looking for? A
Yep.
front end developer? Like, what are you looking for? And yeah, it's just getting crazy. I feel like it's all like passing me too. Is that weird? I feel like I'm getting old. It's gross.
Yeah. It's going too fast for everybody. I think it's passing everybody. It's like you gotta pick stuff. And maybe it'll kind of hone back into like it seems like what was it 10 years ago it was like there were like 5 things you could do like PHP, you
Yeah.
could do .NET, you could do maybe they had like Cake PHP or something for apps, but it was like 5 things, and jQuery was like the only JavaScript framework
It
other
really
than
was.
maybe like Prototype, which nobody used. But
That's
now
so
it's like there's 50 different JavaScript frameworks. There's 80 different, back-end frameworks. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They want you to know
I
them
don't,
all.
I don't know.
It's frustrating. Are you programmer for life? Like you've always been programming?
No, I went to art school and I was painting. Uh,
What? Really?
2007, I was painting a painting.
Really?
And then
That's fun.
yeah, so I took some design courses too, but I went to University of Wisconsin and they just had like a design emphasis.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I got a graphic design job doing like brochures and print stuff, and then learned
Oh,
web
wow.
design sort of on the job. Then they kind of paid for me to learn, which is cool.
Nice.
So, but it's like it's interesting, and I don't know how you feel about design and development, but when I first started, I was like, I hate development, but I love design. And then now I'm like, man, design is so hard, but I love development. It's like kind of switched.
Yeah, I flip flopped a couple times because I think
Yeah.
the more you do something, the more you start to enjoy it, but then you start to forget about all the other stuff, and then
Yeah.
it's like it's hard to balance because if you're designing, it's like all right, well I got to code. I forgot how to do all this coding stuff, and then you get into the code stuff, and then you do that for a long time, and you're like, yes, I'm so awesome at code. Oh, I got to design something. I suck at design
Yeah,
right now.
maybe that's it. Maybe you're right. I thought it was that, like with design, like maybe I just don't have a good way to design. Like I just basically keep like working at it until I don't hate it, and then I'll come back the next day and be like, well, I hate it again, and
Oh,
so I got to change it all.
that's the designer's curse.
It's just
You hate
yeah,
everything.
it's
I
like,
hated everything I did.
I hate that process. That's just like such a shitty process. And development is just so much more straightforward.
Yeah.
You kind of have an idea of what you're going to do before you do it. You build it, and you're like, oh, I can refactor this, and it just feels good every step of the way.
And then it's done. Well, with
And
design,
that's done.
it's the whole design is subjective, right? So you're never going to please
Yeah.
everyone, and that's what people don't get. And that's the one thing that just pissed me off about design all the time. Was I could put something together, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then the client would see it and be like, "Oh yeah, I like it," and then they'd show their partner, and you'd be like, "I hate it." Well, what don't you like? I just don't like it. And you're like, be specific. So that's when I started going, all right, you got to design with a purpose. And then I started telling clients, I don't care if you like it or hate it. This is the goal, and this design
Yep.
is going to do that goal. And that's what we're looking
Dude.
at. Like,
Exactly. Do your customers like it? Are they going to buy into it?
exactly.
Are they going to find your brand desirable because of these decisions?
Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Boom.
Yep.
Exactly. See, when I started,
Oh.
I went to school for graphic design, and
Oh yeah.
in my head, I'm like, I'm going to be the best graphic designer ever. And then when I went to get a job, nobody was hiring for graphic design. So this one guy out of there was a job fair. So you sat down, you interviewed with like 30 people. The one guy who I could not make laugh for the life of me. I'm throwing jokes in there. He's just staring at me. I'm like, oh man, this is going bad. 2 weeks later, he ends up calling me going, hey, we have a web design job. Do you want it? I was like, yes, I do. So it was just the most awkward moment. But then that's how I kind of got thrown into the whole web stuff. Like I didn't know anything about web stuff. I was making book covers and, posters and postcards and stuff. And then all of a sudden this guy's like, yeah, you got to design our websites and code them. I'm like, what? And this was in tables. Like we did everything in tables. So.
Oh man, how old are you?
Thanks.
I'm just kidding.
Well, tables. This was 2003. I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
3 or 4. That was it.
I remember table.
And then we used to hack the SEO system, and because that was like our bread and butter. So they would come to me,
and it was easy back then, or
it was easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like you had to have just content, and the best content had to be at the top for whatever keyword you were doing. So, but because we did tables, we couldn't get the best content at the top of the page. So that's when we had to start using CSS and I had to start learning how to use absolute positioning and getting all this stuff so that content was on top, but the layout still looked the same. And
oh, interesting.
It was very interesting, but it was all self-taught, and I don't know. I'm gonna pat myself on the back and say I kind of mastered that.
Maybe master tables
or
or
absolute
CSS?
Positioning, CSS.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Okay, I was like, good.
No.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, no, the CSS thing. I had no choice. We're like, you got to rank to number 1. Your job's on the line. Okay.
That's awesome. That's the best way to learn when someone tells you have to.
Oh, they just threw me into the wolves. Nobody cared.
That's awesome.
I'm like,
think if they hadn't done that, what would you be? Would you still be doing posters and book covers and?
I have no idea. I do think about that sometimes, and I've come to this realization, I hate graphic design. I just hate it. I hate doing it. I could do web design. I could design websites all day. I know what they need. I know how to convert. I know what to do, But put me in front of a computer and say design this postcard, and I'm just like, why? Just tell me what you want, and I'll put it in.
Design this thing someone's going to throw away immediately.
Yeah. Or 8 people are going to look at, 3 are going to like, and 4 are going to hate, and then I'm back to the drawing board. So just let's cut all of that. Just tell me what you want, and I'll put it in. It just makes it easier. And that's what just drove me nuts about design, because there's nothing. It's never right. There's no right answer to making something look pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like to be a good designer, you have to be a good salesperson too at the same time. Like when you're working with clients, you gotta because you gotta save them from themselves.
Exactly.
They think they know, but they don't know.
You know what it is? It's really the art of persuasion. You got to design something, but after you design it, now you got to sell it,
It sounds like you're just fed up with the selling it part. Like, you could design a postcard or whatever, but it's like, I don't want to have to sell this to someone.
I'm like, I don't care. This isn't doing anything for me.
I don't care enough about this postcard to sell it to you.
That's so true. That's exactly what it is. I think that's how I felt too. Towards these last days of my thing, because they had me doing, postcards and keynotes and just design stuff, and I was just like, why? Why am I doing this? Let's sell something. I will sell something. Tell me, we need to increase conversions and do this. I'm like, yes, I'll do it. Let's do it. Oh, we want to design a Christmas card, so make it look good. Oh. Okay. It's so frustrating. That's my design story. I think that's funny that you were a designer. So what'd you get into, PHP? Or you just started diving in?
Started with HTML, and then saw people, a lot of designers were using WordPress at the time. I think it was 2011. It was oh yeah, it's like the designers platform kind of. Like a lot of web designers were into it, buying into it. So I don't know, thought I'd try it, WordPress, and did a few for clients, and they liked it, so
Stuck with it?
stuck with it. And then it kept growing. And it's like, wow, it's like 25% of the internet now or something.
It's insane. They're going for 50. It's nuts.
They might get there, man. It's becoming more than just a blogging platform. Like I said,
I think
build
so
apps
too.
with it now.
I think if that's their mission, like they are gunning hard. And I was telling all my programming friends because they're like WordPress, blah 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 blah, because they're like hardcore backend programmers. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, if it's powering 25% now, maybe even 30%, like I would jump on board. Just start learning how to do plugins because that's where the internet's going. It's either going to be that or custom solutions. Like you're either going to be on a WordPress or you're going to have some type of custom craziness happening. And that's just...
There's other CMSs that are great too, but yeah, you're right. It's like if one out of every 4 websites uses it, maybe you should jump on and just see what it's about.
Yeah, hop on that bandwagon, you know? Because what are you going to... I mean, no disrespect to you Joomla people or you Drupal people. But if your platform is only running 2% of the websites, you might be dying soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you going to tell somebody? Hey, I do a Drupal
You know what platform I thought sounded really interesting? It's like a new one called Craft CMS.
Does that sound familiar? What's Craft?
It's basically like if you were to have, like what I was saying, like an advanced custom fields, but on the front end, it's like all built in to that.
Craft CMS.
So it's like built. It's like imagine it was built where like Beaver Builder was like just built into the CMS.
Cool.
Rather than having a plugin, it's kind of like that. But it's like you have to pay to license it and all that. But I think it could be a good solution for people.
See, the only thing with things like Craft and any other one that's coming out there, you know what I mean? They are definitely awesome, but they got to grab like a big chunk to really catch on. Because you're not going to go to, let's say, Indeed.com and say craft developer. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a craft developer for my next project. Thanks. So it's really, it's very scary to like put all your eggs to like a new CMS platform that's not like as widely known. That's like when Adobe was kind of taking over the whole thing, and then you were kind of in Paint still, or like some other like third-party program. What was the one? It wasn't Dreamweaver. It was Front Page. Like
Front Page. I think that's still around.
Oh my God! The world is using Dreamweaver, and you're like, I'm a professional on Front Page.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. See you later, guy. You know?
Yeah, cool. What a star.
Cool guy. Cool story, bro. Yeah, so it's, you got, I don't know. I think there's awesome things out there, but you just got to be careful what you jump in. This actually looks pretty sweet. This looks like the customizer a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's, it'd be like, if you have a client that doesn't really care what CMS they're using and maybe, like I guess the power of WordPress is you have all these plugins. You can shorten your development time. So it'd be like, maybe like a client that wants everything custom, doesn't really want to use plugins, and doesn't really care what CMS they want to use is probably the way to go. But that's, again, probably a small group of people.
Where they have like the things that tie
just
in.
look cool.
It does. It's very clean. I like it.
Very clean. Yep.
Ooh. See, but this looks like the customize. Oh, I just said that, right?
Yeah, it does. It's like,
repeat.
And maybe I heard somewhere that WordPress is gonna beef up their customizer to, like make it so you could drag and drop sections or something like that. I heard that somewhere, but I'm not sure if it's true. I don't know if you know any information.
Well, that sounds like that
Oh.
sounds more like a theme functionality, right?
Like but it's like, because the customizer is all theme stuff, so it makes sense that it would be in there.
I guess. I sometimes I can't stand the customizer. Like I'm there, like, what am I doing? But they are doing a better job at it. I'll give them that. And it needs, I don't know. What is it? Yeah, I have no idea. Because there's so many prettier looking things,
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Like easier to follow and easier to do. Like the customizer is a lot of clicking. Like click, header, click,
Oh,
click,
it,
click,
yeah,
click,
you're
click.
right. You're right. It is.
You know,
Yeah.
like just to have. I think that's been a huge complaint on WordPress for a while, though. Like just the fact that going into it, it's just a little daunting. Like you see all these things in, and you're like, oh, what do I do? So it's kind of like my neighbor was trying to get into WordPress, and she just didn't get it. And, you know, she had to sit down with somebody for a while to kind of explain to her how to use it, what's the difference between a post and a page, and you know what I mean? So, and
like, well, and how do you log in? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
But it's like, where do you even go to log in?
Yeah. So I still think that I mean, I've been using it for a while, so I don't see it because I'm just used to how it is already. But when new people kind of come onto it, it's not as easy as like Squarespace or any of its other competitors, where they just kind of
like Wix or something.
Yeah, where they just sign up, and then it's like, oh yeah, just type in your title, and you're like, oh okay, and you know, this one is like, well, which theme do you want? Well, that doesn't support the title tag, so we're gonna go down here and click settings, and you know, so I think that's definitely one thing that they're probably gonna have to work on to take over 50% of the internet. But, you know, at the same time, it's us, right? It's developers and designers that are pushing it.
That's what I think they should cater to, for sure. Like people that know how to use WordPress, but maybe not necessarily know how to code. I think there's like more and more people that are doing that, where, you know, they're WordPress developers, but they don't code. They just know how WordPress works, how to set up a theme, how to integrate set up the page builder and build pages, which is like all, of course, expertise as well.
Sure.
But I think that's like a lot of web developers are kind of doing that now, or like the newer web developers as they get into the market.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much do they have to know, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't exactly.
It's so easy.
Exactly. You don't have to know a lot. But like you said, like for a client, it's daunting going to that dashboard. Like for somebody to set up their own WordPress site who's never seen WordPress before, they're going to have a hard time, and it's going to take them several days to even figure out what the heck they're doing.
That's so true. Yeah, and it happens all the time too. That's why even businesses like that WP 101 and Troy Dean's video user manuals, you know, they get business because you got to learn it. And I guess the videos make it easier to learn.
Yep.
Interesting place, Foreman. Interesting place.
Yep.
Andre, listen, we've been on talking for about an hour. I don't want to take up your entire night. So.
Oh man, it was fun. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, this is definitely fun, and we'll definitely be talking again. I'm sure we're gonna keep in touch. ProjectHuddle.io, right?
Yep.
ProjectHuddle.io. I'm gonna put links into the show notes, and this was really awesome. It was a freaking pleasure talking to you, man.
Yeah, this is fun.
Awesome. All right, bye.
All right.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that episode of Developer to Millionaire. As always, if you did like it, please share this with someone that you think would enjoy it too. And head over to iTunes, shoot us a 5-star rating, give us a review, post something in the comments. Just let me know you're listening. Let me know you enjoy what's going on. And if you have any ideas or topics, or you know someone that could be a part of this, just let me know. You guys rock. Thanks so much. Take care. God bless. Bye.